Hi guys, so recently I started watching One Piece again, an anime about pirates taking on a corrupt government. And in this process of watching all the cool animations, I really felt like drawing my favorite character, Zoro. So here's what I came up with, and what I'll be doing is taking you guys through the entire process of me creating it. But before we actually get into that, here's a small montage of Zoro himself. Enjoy!
何を目指す
最強一刀流居合獅子孫孫アトミックスパート三刀流煉獄
So just a quick disclaimer for all those One Piece fans out there. At the point of this drawing, I was only at episode 450. So I didn't get to the time skip and the part where he got the scar on his eye. So I did kind of make a mistake in this illustration. However, I did correct it at the end. So don't kill me for that. But if you guys want to see me do these types of things live and help me out if I make these type of mistakes, you can catch me on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. And that's basically where I create these illustrations for these videos. Without any further ado, let's get into it. Okay, let's begin with step 1, finding a good reference. So there's many ways you can go about doing this, but just to like sum it up, I'm generally looking for a dynamic pose that I enjoy, or something that I like, that I feel like adds to the character. And I'll get a few examples of this. So you can see in this one I'm using the girl with the sword. And then obviously I'm using other elements of Zoro biting the sword, and that's pretty much a mixture of all of them that I put together to come up with the reference that I required. Okay, step 2. Step 2 would be just doing a rough sketch. So all we're doing at this point in time is a rough sketch of the concept that we have in our mind. So here you can see I'm using the reference image, the pose of the girl on the left in blue, and I'm basically just mimicking her movements. I'm using the other reference on the left hand side as well, where Zoro has the sword in his mouth, which is a signature move of him. So I wanted to bring that into this illustration as well. So I'm just taking elements of each of my reference images, try and create something unique, and that's pretty much what I'm doing at this stage. It's getting a rough feel for what I want my illustration to look like, and especially like layout wise. Step 3. So once I've done a number of rough sketches and I'm pretty happy with where I am or what I've done with my rough sketch, I basically now need to finalize everything in this refining sketch stage. So in step 3, that's what I'm doing at this point. I'm basically refining my idea. I'm trying to do things correctly. Like in the rough sketch, for example, on the hilt of the sword, I'll just do a rough circle, but at this point I'm actually using the tools given to me by Photoshop to create a proper oval shape. I'm also like fixing a lot of my anatomy at this point, so that's pretty much what I'm doing. I'm fixing up all the ideas that I had, making it anatomically correct to the best of my ability, and adding in the patterns like you can see right now in the hilt, adding the patterns in the sword, whether there's patterns in the garment or anywhere on the image. I'm doing it at this point. This is most likely my most important point of the drawing, because from this point onwards there's no going back. So I would take my time with the refined sketch point. This does take bulk of my time, and yeah, I'll let you guys just watch the rest of the step, and then I'll get you in the next one. step 4. This is probably one of my favorite steps, to be honest. I feel like this is one of the steps where your image starts to really take shape. So inking is basically just refining your line work, and being somebody that really enjoys doing portraits, I do love doing the details in the eyes and the nose and the mouth. So I really do put pride in that part of my illustration, and I feel like the face is quite an important part of every illustration. So yeah, I enjoy this part quite a bit. Also what I'm doing at this part with the inking is, this is where you see a lot of the details come in. So whether it be the textures on the sword or the textures on the clothing, that's pretty much where you'll see a lot of that works come in. And visually the piece starts to just come alive in terms of the overall addition of the line work added. And yeah, I always find like this part to be therapeutic, so I do enjoy this quite a lot. So yeah. So step 5, adding your shading, is really the stage where your image really starts to come alive and enter a 3-dimensional space by adding all the shadows. I will do an exercise at a later stage where I go a little bit more in detail with regards to my shading techniques. So step 6, let's add our color. So at this point what I generally do is I either use a skin layer or I use a gray layer just to color block the entire image, and then I'll use methods like clipping, masking to help myself color a bit quicker. But on the top right, as you can see, I'm color picking from a reference image, which is something I would recommend you do if you're struggling to make any decisions in terms of what color to use where. One thing I really like to do is take the color and push my illustration a bit further by making it a little bit more vibrant, as you'll see in a lot of my works. I do believe that color is the step that really brings everything together and it really makes your image pop quite a bit. So in this illustration, step 7 is quite a quick one. I do believe this lighting and shading does go together, but in this instance I'm just adding a little bit of lighting coming from the right hand side, and then I just added some rim light just to make the illustration pop a bit more. Step 8, being my final step, is where I refine and add all my visual effects. So you'll see in this step is where my lighting is pushed a little bit further. I start doing elements in the background to help the illustration move along. I'll also like fix up some areas that I missed, or whether my color and tones don't necessarily match, I'll correct it at this point. But yeah, at this point I'm basically just fixing everything up, adding my final ideas to the piece and getting everything tied together a little bit better. I might also at this point in time, depending on the illustration, do some testing in terms of what background color works, but generally I have that planned out beforehand. But you'll see in this one I played around quite a bit, and that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll chat to you guys in a bit. So that's it for this one, guys. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate if you guys can give the video a thumbs up or subscribe to the channel. It really goes a long way. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye.